Hi friend, I'm so happy you're here. Today we're going to talk about why people keep disappointing you. Do you ever feel like that? Like everybody just keeps disappointing you. No matter how hard you try to make things right, make things go smoothly, people just keep disappointing you. Does that sound like maybe something you've experienced? Because I know I have. So, if people keep disappointing you, let me ask you a question. Maybe is it time to lower your expectations? I know, that sounds crazy, doesn't it? Why would I lower my expectations? I want people to be the best that they can be, right? Well, maybe, but it's not going to happen. People are going to keep disappointing you until you start lowering your expectations. I know, this maybe seems backwards, but it's true. This might be different than what you are used to thinking about in terms of, expectations and how we deal with people in our lives. But when we put expectations on people, they're always going to let you down. So if you want to quit being disappointed and being let down by those people that we've put these expectations on, you're going to have to start lowering your expectations. And when you lower your expectations, believe it or not, you might just get some of your peace back. So let's get to it. Are you tired of feeling like you do it all? Do you wish you could conquer your chaos? Do you set big goals only to feel guilty and defeated when you don't follow through? Again. Hi, I'm your host, Stephanie J. Clark. I too was overwhelmed with all the things. I felt defeated every time life didn't go the way I had planned. I wanted more time doing the things I actually enjoyed. But I kept telling myself I needed to do it all the time because asking for help was a sign of weakness. Until I unexpectedly found peace in the quiet moments of rest, where the Lord showed me I needed to learn who I was so I could see the reason for my chaos. In this podcast, you will find tips on how to manage your home, strengthen your marriage, and find confidence like you've never had before so that you surrender control and be led by the Spirit. So dust off that Bible and get ready to find the culprit to your chaos and start getting your peace back by rediscovering normal. Okay, so people keep disappointing you, right? My answer to that is lower your expectations. That doesn't seem right? But like I said, when you have expectations of someone, they will always let you down. You have to understand that it's not up to you to hold people accountable for the way you think they should be acting. People are always going to make their own choices. And I know that this might be hard to grasp, especially if it's, a family member or your spouse or someone you're close to where you just want the best for them, right? So you do set these expectations of how you think they should be or how they should go about life. But again, the reality is people make their own choices and it's not up to you to hold them accountable for the way you think they should live their life. Because even if it is somebody close to you, they may be dealing with an internal battle that they haven't opened up with you about. So maybe it's a struggle that they are experiencing that they've only felt comfortable taking to Jesus. Or maybe they haven't even taken it to Jesus and they're still wrestling with it themselves, which breaks my heart because I've been there before and I've wrestled with things on my own before. But when you take it to Jesus, then you don't have to do it alone. But that's a different topic for another day. We have to start giving people more grace, just like Jesus gives us grace, right? Like we will never live up to the expectations of what we should be in order to receive God's grace. Like we don't deserve it. So why do we put that expectation on other people in our lives? Because if we can't live up to the expectation of how we should be in order to receive God's grace, why should we expect people to live up to our expectations and not give them grace? After my divorce, I struggled, which is expected, but I didn't really want anyone to know. I tried to struggle with my feelings and my emotions on my own, or quite honestly, I just tried to push them totally away. I didn't want to deal with them. I didn't deal with my emotions with Jesus, and I should have, but I didn't. Eventually, I did start therapy for myself because I was a mess and I didn't know what else to do. I had hit my rock bottom and I thought I was a total disaster and that nothing was going to fix me. I was unfixable. So I decided to start therapy, and throughout therapy, I learned that I was struggling with some control issues. And I needed to let go of those. And the reality is I was placing expectations on people and they kept disappointing me. I just continued to be disappointed by the people in my life because I thought they should be acting in a different way than that they were. Let me also just take a quick minute to say that there is absolutely nothing wrong with therapy. Like, I wish we could just get over the stigma of needing therapy. Even if you think you're okay, like, I just wish everybody would do therapy, regardless of their mental state. They could be the happiest there is. But therapy just makes you think in ways that you don't think to think yourself, if that makes sense. And it just brings things to light, and the professional helps you see things in a different way to just help bring some peace to your life. So if you're struggling and you just need somebody to help you with your random thoughts that keep circling in your mind, please, like, by all means, start some therapy. And really, they have so many options now that you don't even have to go to an office for a therapy session. I used Talkspace. It's an app that you download and you do a simple questionnaire, and they can then pair you with a therapist, and it's just messaging. You can also do video calls with that therapist as well, but I only utilized the message portion of the app. And let me just tell you that therapy was an absolute blessing for me and my mental state, even though people would have said I was okay. For me, I was not okay, and I needed somebody to help me sort out my racing thoughts. Okay, so back to expectations and my control issues. So I was dealing with some control issues that I refused to let go of and had placed some expectations on people that shouldn't have been there. And my therapist explained it in a way to me that still sticks with me to this day, and I just felt that I needed to share it with you. You bought a donkey, and you knew it was a donkey. It looks like a donkey. It walks like a donkey. It sounds like a donkey. However, you want that donkey to be a stallion. However, it's never going to look like a stallion because it's a donkey. It will never sound like a stallion because it's a donkey. It will never be a stallion, even though that's what you want it to be. You have to remember that you bought the donkey. Really kind of puts things into perspective, huh? Not to say that the people in your life who you've placed expectations on are donkeys, but that was the example my therapist gave me, and it really hit me hard, showing me that I had the unrealistic expectations of these people, and that even though I wanted them to act a certain way, they had always acted in the way they were acting. So why would that change, now in the situation? Because they've always acted that way. So I just want to encourage you that if you feel disappointed by people constantly, that just take a step back and think about if you are expecting a donkey to be a stallion. And if you are, just lower those expectations, because you have to see people for who they are right now. Because as I mentioned, they may be dealing with something that you don't know about. So see those people for who they are right now, not for who you hope that they will be. Because you can't change them. Only Jesus can. So I would challenge you, if you are dealing with expectations on people and them letting you down, go to Jesus in prayer. First, ask Jesus how to change your heart so you can let go of some of those expectations. And then secondly, ask Jesus to change their heart so then maybe they can live up to some of those expectations that you have. But remember, if you have those expectations, they're going to let you down. But just remember that Jesus can change them. So if you pray for them, first of all, your heart will change. And then eventually you will see a change in them too, because there's nothing that God can't do. So if God can change them, just start praying for that person. And then you get let off the hook because you no longer have these expectations and you're no longer disappointed. So then you can get some of your peace because you're no longer expecting people to be who you want them to be. And you can just accept them for who they are, because just like Jesus accepts you for who you are right now, you also need to realize that those people who you've placed expectations on and who are disappointing you, Jesus accepts them and loves them just as they are right now. So we need to do what we can to be a little bit more like Jesus. I hope this episode blesses you and you get a little bit of encouragement, even though people keep disappointing you, that maybe you will lower your expectations just a little bit to see people for who they are and love them right where they are. Okay, friends, until next episode, keep rediscovering normal with Jesus. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Rediscovering Normal podcast. Could you do me a huge favor? If this episode blessed you, can you give it a 5-star rating or leave a review wherever you're listening? And if you felt the Holy Spirit moving in you during this episode, could you please share it with someone who may need the message as well? This is the number one way that others find out about the podcast. And if you want to keep in touch, go ahead and join the Overwhelmed Mamas community on Facebook, where we trade chaos for peace. Okay, friend, until the next episode, keep rediscovering normal every day with Jesus.